Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Rich Mystic Man. And today I am excited because I have a very special guest on. I'd say my favorite of all my guests ever. And we have done one other episode together, but no other than my beautiful wife, Kristie X Ord, aka Kristie X Morgan. And Kristie, great to have you here, babe.
Great to be here.
Thanks for coming on the show at such short notice.
You're welcome. Thanks. Great to be here.
For those who don't know who you are, I'm sure a lot of listeners probably follow you and engage with your content as well, especially people in our community. If you don't know who Kristie X Ord is, get out from under that rock. But would love for you to just to introduce yourself, like maybe in like 60 seconds, just give us like the bullet point version, snapshot version of Kristie X Ord.
Hey everyone, it's great to be back on The Rich Mystic Man. Thanks so much, Clint. So a little bit about me. I'm a mum of 3 little cuties, a wife to the Rich Mystic Man, Clint, and I also have multiple different businesses. So visionary entrepreneur, really supporting people worldwide to create financial freedom and time freedom and location freedom so they can do more of what they love and not have to be, checking their bank account or their calendar in order to say yes to the things that they want to say yes to in life, because we're here for a very short time, right? And we never know when that time is up for us. And so we really need to make the most of every moment and every day and actually be living our life with joy and abundance and experiences and making memories versus kind of being in lack or scarcity or, everything's a struggle and just getting by. And so I'm really here to shift the paradigm in terms of how we do life and business. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Epic. And she's powerful at it. She really knows how to put the wind under people's sails and help them to, really get out of their own way and be who they're destined to be and show up who they're meant to be. And create powerful results financially, time-wise, in our business. And she's responsible for supporting a lot of people to gain financial freedom. So great to have you here, babe. And I guess like what I'd really love to unpack and have a conversation around is, you are married to a rich mystic man. And so would love to just, I guess it's always a conversation that, we have here and there. And, sometimes I hear it a fair bit where, women might be like, wanting their men to step up, like wanting their men to, step into their full potential. I hear it, not a lot, but it is times where you talk to women and they're like, man, my husband's got so much potential, but he just he gets in his own way, or he doesn't trust himself. He doesn't back himself. He doesn't do the thing. And so, I'd love to talk to you about not just me, but seeing other men really step up and what it's like for a woman to be in a relationship. And I know it's not always easy, I'm a bit of a wildcat. And so I wouldn't wish being married to me upon anyone except you, because you're wired and you have the courage and patience to do it. But yeah, I guess, we talk about rich mode being activated, and so would love for you to speak into that, how it feels to be with the man with the rich mode activated as opposed to not activated, because I know for me over the years there's been times where it's not on and it's off, and when we first sort of got together, then it wasn't on at all. And so then that really, when I did engage that, things shifted both in our life but also in our relationship.
I love that. Well, you're definitely a kook to be with, that's for sure. You always like very interesting and entertaining, and I never know really what to expect or what's coming next. So yeah, it's like a big roller coaster with Clint. It's like all of the things. It's all of the things in one. But it's exciting, But I wouldn't want to be with anyone else, that's for sure. Keeps things well.
You heard it here first.
It's a great conversation, because I feel from a lot of, the work that we've both done and, certainly being in these spaces of personal development and growth for a long time, is the man biologically is wired to protect, to lead and to provide. And that doesn't mean that the woman doesn't, go and make money or lead from the forefront or anything like that. In fact, there's a lot of women out there that are making more money than their husband, and I think that can trigger a man. If the man hasn't done the work on himself, it can be quite triggering, because the man then feels like not worthy, or that's the only way that they can protect and provide. But there's actually so many other ways emotionally and within himself that he can protect and provide, no matter how much the man is making money. But I think money is also a really big piece to it, because when a man has actually activated this part of himself and he's out there and he is making money and he is in his purpose and he is impacting and he is doing that, that is part of what fulfills a man. Like when a man knows that he can not only take care of himself, but he can take care of the family. Yeah, it's just that's how men are really wired. And, when I met Clint, we had a lot of honest conversations, because I guess he was more in this feminine flow energy, which was actually really working in a lot of aspects of his life. But there was this kind of piece to him around being really activated, backing himself, believing in himself, trusting in his path, and really going out there and actually, making money and being, making sales and all of these things. And so when I saw this activation, I guess this switch of what Clint went from to, who he became, when he really started doing certain things, he went from making $0 to I know he ended up having a $26,000 month, and he showed up differently. He acted differently. He was, his action steps were different. His mindset was different. And as a result of all these steps and changes that he made, himself was more certain. And so when a man has that certainty within himself, that's attractive to a woman. So I was far more attracted to him, and it was that polarity, right? It's been an interesting journey, because I think that honest conversation that we had around maybe 7 or 8 years ago really shifted something deeply within Clint. And that really sent him on this journey of tapping into that biological part of it as a man, of protecting and providing and leading. And he definitely leads our household. In fact, when he's not out in our household, everything kind of falls apart because he really is that pillar of our household, of the provider and the protector and the leader. And I think, when a man has got that and is really in that, a woman just feels like they can be held more, right, in their energy.
So thanks, darling. So what you said, I did certain things. What was, just from your, outsider's perspective, what were some of the things that I've, done over the years to support me in my growth and confidence and courage and business?
Yeah, there was a lot of things. For you, from a business level, you really stepped up and you really started filling your calendar. And for you were okay, well, if I'm going to be successful, I need to fill my calendar, right? I need to fill my bank account and I need to fill my calendar. And when there was so much space in your life, I think it was created a lot of space for you to doubt yourself, or be sort of in this unsure energy. And when you actually were I'm just going to go out there and do the thing and take massive action. So for you, I mean, the first thing I saw you do was you went and did Fight Like a Pro, which was, I think it was a few months of really being in the ring with other men, and really that initiation into men's work. And that I saw such a big difference within you at that point. And then you obviously went on and really activated your business, and started filling your calendar. You filled your calendar, and as a result, you started showing up differently. You started wearing different things, and then just bit by bit over your journey, you've just gone on to do so much different personal development work. I've seen you do many, containers and retreats, and just learning yourself and all of your practices that you do. So Clint is the most disciplined person that I've ever met, and devoted person, especially to himself and his path of getting himself right, doing the healing work for himself, and actually just becoming a better version of himself. And so I've seen you be so dedicated to these different containers and areas of growth over the years, whether it's you're focused fully on your health and fitness and you're all in with that, or whether it's you're in a stint and a sprint of your business and you're all in with that. When you're all in, you're all in. And yeah, I've seen your life transform in so many different ways because of your level of devotion and dedication and consistency to I like holding your word that you said to yourself. Like if you say you're going to go and get fit or do this, you go do it. If you say that you're going to become the healthiest version of yourself, like you go do it and you're all in with that. So I think it's just like, rather than like going through every single thing that I've seen you do over the last 8-9 years, it's more like when you're all in with something, and there's a level of discipline and devotion and consistency that I see, which is why you get the results that you want. And I think a lot of people say they want certain results, but they're not willing to go and do the thing to actually get the results. So like I saw you do 75 hard, and I was like, you were all in the 75 hard, right? And then I've seen you, want to lose a certain amount or put on an extra, whatever in muscle or whatever your goal is. It's like you really do, when you've got that goal, you seem to always achieve it because of your attitude towards those things. So yeah, and just even like your morning practice and your level of devotion to that, like even with around 3 kids, like you're still so like devoted to, just always being the best version of yourself.
Thanks, darling. Thanks for that. And yeah, I just want to, I guess, over the Christmas period, there was, Kristie and I both decided we'd had a wild year. Like last year was beyond amazingly hectic and just so many things. I feel like we lived a decade in 1 year. It's like every month was a whole year. And so it was coming towards the end of the year, and we're like, let's just have some space, let's just have some time off. So we went out to our land, and it was probably about a month that we're pretty much unplugged. And but I found during that time, like you said, when there was nothing in my calendar, like I started to feel like I was doubting myself, and I was sort of just feeling, I don't know, like I was like, oh, I don't really want to do anything, uninspired and unmotivated. And we played the Wish board game. If anyone hasn't played that, it's an epic game. It's called The Wish. And we're playing this board game, and basically you set a wish, and then you go around this board game, and it identifies any obstacles or blocks you have in the way of manifesting that wish. And as I was playing it, Kristie's wish, she got out like really quickly. And so I was going around, and I was sort of like, having some blocks and some challenges and things that were coming up. And Kristie was there, like just sort of guiding and coaching me through it, which was epic. And one thing that was identified there was like this rich mode. And I sort of like I was like, I had to sort of get myself out from this, month off, this downtime. And I was sort of like, so I had to like stretch and warm up the muscles and things like that. So I was sort of, getting back into the flow of things. But I started to feel my energy shift from that, sort of doubting, or that sort of, I guess more inward period. And then started to feel like, oh yeah, okay, cool. I'm getting back on. It was sort of like I was preparing to step into the ring, or, get into battle mode. And I noticed my energy started to shift. And so, Kristie was identifying through that game that, it's like this, we're talking about the rich mode. She was calling it beast mode. I was like, let's call it something different. What about the rich mode? And so we talked about this mode. And so it's sort of like I had to, it was a combination of being like inspired within, but I had to like meet myself halfway and cultivate this energy and do the things that before maybe I wouldn't do. And this is also back when, 8 years ago when Kristie mentioned. And and so sort of bit by bit, little bit by little. And then last weekend I had the Rich Man Retreat. And so it was sort of like the first thing I'd done this year, where I was like putting myself in front of people. I was being of service. I was, had to like, show up and promote it prior, and, had to do all the things that were calling me forward as a man. And so I went down there and did that 3-day retreat. There was 18 of us in the room, 18 men, and it was wildly successful and transformative for every man that was there, including myself. And so it was interesting coming back, and I would love for you to maybe just, give your perspective of coming back, because when I come back, I just felt different. I was just like, I just felt, like, I guess I felt like I trusted myself. I was backing myself better. And I just felt like this sort of feeling turned on by life, And so we'd love for you to share because I know Kristie's, had a bit of a time dealing with me and my excitement. I'm like a puppy dog. I'm like, let me at him, So how's it been seeing me before the weekend and after the weekend?
Yeah, really different. Funny because he's kind of been like following me around like a bad smell.
Like Vegas. I'm like Vegas.
Like our dog. No, but he, very much like excited and turned on with life and like it's go time and just really activated. And I think that this work, especially when men come together, what I've seen time and time again from your retreats and bringing men together is how activated you are. And it's the same with women. When we get together, like women have to spend time with women. And when we do, it actually, like if we're in a group of women, it naturally releases oxytocin. And so that's why women feel like we're on a high when we're with other women that are similar and, positive and growth-minded. And, if we're singing and dancing and all that, like we come home feeling so good because it literally releases natural oxytocin when we're with other women. And I don't know what the version of that for men is, what it releases, but whatever it is, testosterone or whatever, like I've seen when you do go and hold these spaces and facilitate these spaces, like how you come home. And I know that the other men go home feeling the same because I've seen them do testimonials and tag you and share how they've been feeling afterwards and how they're activated. And I think there is this thing around like the rich mode activated that happens. So it's really cool. It's definitely really cool.
So what would you say to a man that's like, looking at the rich man or the rich mystic man masterminds or retreats? Like, what would you say to them as a word of encouragement?
Well, I feel like you created something that you were looking for yourself, like oftentimes when as entrepreneurs, we create things that we didn't have in our journey. Like Clint and I, we've just done a reno for the last year, renovation on a house. And, in my eyes, I created something that I was looking for in a home, and I think that's what entrepreneurs do. So that's what you do, right? Is you've created a space that you were probably looking for because you were back in those days going, well, how do I like even become a man? How do I go from being a boy to a man? And I think that journey happens a lot later sometimes in a man's life, like around that 30s, like out of their Saturn return. It's kind of like when I met you, you were living at home with your mum, like receiving Centrelink and sometimes working for $20 an hour, so you weren't like, you hadn't activated this like provider and protector and leader energy. And so you went on this journey to find where are these spaces that I can do that. And, you found some spaces that you could do that. But I think ultimately you went on this really unique journey of your own. And then you created a space for men that wasn't available when you were going through that. Yeah, like I'd seen like any man that I talk to, and Clint has people that come, like literally I'm like, oh, that guy was there again. Like I see the photos from the weekend. I'm like, he was there like every other one. And he just has men that just keep coming back for more and more and more. So, I think this work is really important. Not to say that women are more on the path than men, but I think from my circles and stuff like that, there's a lot of women who, are kind of waking up and coming out of the matrix and are believing in themselves and creating this certainty and very much into growth and taking the risks and taking the big leap and all of that. And the common thing that I hear around with women is like, oh, my man's not on the same path. Like he's kind of stuck still in the fear and the lack and the scarcity and, the old way of kind of doing things. And women are sort of shifting into this new paradigm. And yet they're feeling like they have to sort of drag their men with them. And that actually, in my eyes and a lot of women's eyes, is not attractive. Like we as women, we're attracted to men that have a vision and that, are backing themselves and believing in themselves and expanding and, tapping into all of that, not just staying safe or staying in their comfort zone or, not believing in themselves, not backing themselves. And so I think this work is so crucial for men. And I think when men actually activate this, it creates this beautiful, because also on the flip side of this conversation, there's a lot of women, I guess, who are seen as being too in their masculine energy these days. But I truly feel when the man steps into their protector and leader and provider energy and their certainty, Like the woman's not going to feel like they need to hold everything. They're not going to feel like they need to be the one that actually goes and does it. And they naturally will still do that, but not feeling like they have to carry everything. So I feel like a lot's going to shift over these next, years of like the men more coming in and doing this work as well. And I think it's a space that you've created for men to really do that. And you're such an embodiment of the work because you've spent so many years doing this work. And I just see how, like, every man that I speak to that's been to one of these, they're like, oh, hands down, best workshop ever, like best weekend, changed my life, transformed everything,
So get there. I've been doing Kristie's head in with my numbers. After the retreat, I was driving our Ford and I was driving and it was 22,222 kilometers, 0.2. I was like, babe, check it out. And she's like, you and your numbers. So
all in the flow, the numbers.
All in the flow.
Yeah, so I guess I would just love you to finish on just sharing like your life and, how it is now compared to, 8 years ago when we were really struggling financially. And yeah, I guess there's a lot of pain with both of us knowing that we have a big potential, but just sort of feeling stuck on the entrepreneurial hamster wheel. And so we'd just love for you to drop a bit of KXO wisdom to finish off this podcast for anyone out there that, doesn't feel that, creating a life on your terms or creating financial freedom is possible. And maybe some last bits of wisdom just to give them a bit of encouragement, knowing that, if you can do it, if we can do it, then so can they.
Yeah, I mean, Clint and I often speak about this story around how we had our baby on the way and, we were really stuck financially and all of these things. And we didn't know how we were literally going to buy food. And Clint got a call, as the universe does, or whatever you want to call it, God, source, universe, like it always delivers, right? It's like when we can really get in the flow of trusting, it's like we are actually always provided for in some way. And so we got a call from Timeshare and they were like, oh, can you come in tomorrow? And if you come in, we'll give you $100 Coles voucher. And he was like, it's like, all right, this is going to be what we can, do to get some food. And so then he said, well, we'll come in if my wife can also get a $100 voucher. And they're like, all right, cool, like, let's do it. So we turned up at Timeshare, we had $8 in our account. We actually really loved the idea of the whole Timeshare, but we're like, it was like $40,000 or something for the package. And we're like, listen, we got $8 in our account. We literally came for the Coles vouchers. So yeah, like it's been a wild journey of like, over the last 6.5, that was only 6.5 years ago. And so much has happened since. And it is really about like step by step, just like putting one foot in front of the other each day, making the big bold moves, like really trusting and expanding and saying yes to the opportunities that are in front of us that can really support us and just backing yourself, like we're going to have final leaders and mentors in our life and we're going to believe in ourselves. But ultimately the biggest person that has to believe in you is you. So yeah, if you're, ready to really activate the rich mode, and if you're a woman listening to this podcast as well, maybe encourage your man to get into Clint's vortex. It's been amazing to be a part of your journey and watch your journey, and I think what you're doing for other men is it's really incredible.
Thanks, honey. Can we now call you the Rich Mystic Woman?
Oh, maybe.
Yes, thanks. And if you're curious, you're listening to this and you'd like to explore the Rich Mystic Man, or the Rich Man Retreat and some of my other offerings to support men to really step into their power, step up, really lead, create financial results and a life that you can really be truly proud of, then I invite you to send me a message on Instagram. Just hit me up and say, let's get Rich Man activated, and we can have a conversation and see what we can do to support you in fulfilling the Rich Man and you living your ultimate desires and dreams. So big shout out to and a big thanks for Kristie X Ord, the Rich Mystic Woman. Thanks for coming on the show, babe. Do you reckon we'll get you back again?
Oh, we'll see. Probably. All right.
Love you, honey. Thanks, guys.
Sitting here watching the clock, I'm struggling, thinking of the bullshit that I've been juggling. Is there more to life than this? I'm thinking twice about the price I'm paying.